Camellia existed only for perfection. As the wife of a billionaire, she cared about the diamonds on her fingers, the designer dresses in her closet, and the seamless grandeur of her social life. Tonight, her 30th birthday party, was the pinnacle of her demands. She barely glanced at her husband, Marcus, who stood silently by the fireplace because he seemed too quiet, too ordinary for the glittering crowd. Marcus was the billionaire, but he felt like a forgotten statue in his own huge house. The one thing Camellia truly focused on now was the cake, a towering, expensive centerpiece that was about to be revealed. This was where her domestic staff, like Madeline, came in. Madeline's world was small, defined entirely by her deep, fierce love for her 6-year-old daughter, Lily. Every early morning, every egg from cleaning the massive Vance mansion was a small payment toward Lily's future. The thought of Lily's warm hug at night was the only thing that kept the mansion's coldness from suffocating her. Madeline's palms were slick with pure terror as she carried the enormous, impossibly tall cake. It felt like holding her entire future on a silver tray. Just a few steps more, she pleaded silently, her gaze locked on the table. Then a sudden, careless blur, a waiter rushing past, a sharp jolt. Madeline's breath hitched in her throat. Time seemed to slow as the cake began its horrifying descent. It struck the marble floor with a shattering, sickening sound. White and red cake splashed onto the floor like a ruined, worthless mess. The silence that followed was heavy and filled with judgment. Camellia was the first to move. Her face was a mask of furious, cold entitlement. "You clumsy idiot!" she shrieked, her voice shaking with outrage over the wasted money. "You are fired. Get out and never come back." Madeline felt the blood drain from her face. She sank to the floor, her hands sticky with frosting, but her heart was tight with despair. What about Lily? Where will we go? Then, a warm shadow fell over her. "Camellia, that's enough." Marcus's voice was low, laced with a quiet, unexpected authority. He ignored his wife's glare and the staring guests. He knelt in a mess of cake, right in front of Madeline. His eyes weren't angry, but filled with a profound, aching pity that pierced through her fear. "It was an accident," he repeated, gentle as a sigh. He placed a hand, not demanding, but reassuring, on her shoulder. "Madeline, please go to the kitchen. Take a moment to breathe. I will tell the staff to manage the cleanup." Marcus couldn't stop thinking about Madeline. He realized the cake disaster had broken more than just sugar and frosting. It had broken the wall between his cold world and Madeline's honest one. He started visiting the staff kitchen late at night. After Camellia was asleep, he found Madeline preparing for the next day, and they would share quiet cups of tea. He saw her simple beauty and the unyielding strength in her eyes. She saw the kind, lonely man hidden beneath the billionaire's polished exterior. One night, Marcus reached for the same sugar spoon Madeline was holding. Their hands brushed. A small, electric current shot through them both. They pulled back quickly, their hearts hammering in the sudden silence. After that moment, the talks changed. Marcus would wait for the house to be dark and quiet, and he would meet Madeline in the hidden, glass-walled conservatory. He confessed to her, his voice barely a whisper, that she was the only real thing he had ever known. Madeline, terrified but overwhelmed by a powerful longing, confessed her love for him too. One glorious afternoon, they were in the garden, watching Madeline and Lily draw dinosaurs with colorful chalk. Marcus leaned down to laugh at Lily's drawing, and Madeline reached out, gently touching his cheek to wipe away a smear of chalk dust. It was a quick, tender moment of unguarded affection. But Camellia had grown suspicious of Marcus's new, quiet happiness. She had followed him to the garden, her eyes, usually cold, now blazed with a mix of fury and disbelief. She hadn't cared about Marcus's love, but she did care that he gave his affection to a maid. "Madeline!" Camellia shrieked, rushing onto the lawn, her perfect dress ruined by the dew. "Get your things. You're not only fired, you are to leave this property right now. Take your child and go." Camelia's act was one of pure spite, kicking a struggling mother out onto the street. Madeline scooped up Lily, her eyes wide with fresh, hot panic. She knew this time Camellia meant it. She turned, heartbroken, ready to walk away forever, feeling their secret love had ruined everything. "Stop!" Marcus commanded. His voice wasn't just authority now. It was unshakable resolve. He walked straight past Camellia, who was frozen in shock, and took Madeline's free hand. "Madeline, don't walk away. Not now." He looked back at Camellia, his expression finally clear and cold. "The pretense is over. My life is not here. My life is with Madeline and Lily." He didn't wait for Camellia to respond. He took Madeline's small bag, scooped Lily into his arms, and walked out of the Vance mansion, leaving all his wealth and the cold perfection behind. Marcus didn't waste a day. He gave Camellia the divorce papers immediately. He focused entirely on building a real home for Madeline and Lily. They bought a small, sun-filled house near a park. A few months later, under the warm, honest sun, Marcus and Madeline were married. Lily, wearing a bright white dress, stood proudly beside them.